most of these questions revolve around schedules, and then on the regional center side, how many people have passed through which stages. The first project that we had go full cycle, the investment itself went very quickly. That project, we started raising capital in 2015, at the end of 15. Then that project probably had people approved starting in 2017. It was about an 18-month process for those first investors. They had an adjustment and change of status that took 8 months or so out of South Africa, was the first investor. And that took us into mid 2017, and only late 2017 that they had conditional residency. That first stack of investors now is in their conditional residency phase. But the project itself is actually totally finished, built, rented out, 100% full, and they even sold it at the end of last year. And those investors were reinvested into an apartment building as a senior loan, and they're waiting for their conditional residency periods to finish. Their job creation's done, but they file I-829s. The first set will file next year. So we haven't had a full cycle investor because USCIS processing times, just to get the regional center approved, it took us about a year. That was in 2013 to 14. And from there, the first projects to raise capital were in 2015. So you can't even raise one investor until you have the approval. So that's when those projects start. And for the landing at College Square, like I said, it's full cycle. Then Madison Park was another $17.5 million fund. Those apartments, the first phase is built, completed, renting, and the money is just as a loan to the project. The first asset is Gallo Lofts. It's right next to the Alameda Estuary near Fruitvale BART station. Totally done. And that's rented and stabilized. And then Hollis Muse is another 124 unit apartments right next to Emeryville where the IKEA is, if anybody's been up there. That will actually open for leasing in September, next month. So again, like after those projects are finished, we just remain as a loan, and it's just a leasing apartment building, and it rents. They're 5-year terms. So when you're asking about the investment term, no matter what's going on with USCIS and their processing times, our investment is intended to be a 5-year investment. And also for USCIS, they've also cleared up that you only need to remain invested until your I-829 is filed. You don't have to be approved. You just have to have it filed, because essentially if you have filed an I-829, that means that your job creation and your investment is complete. Did I say that right? Okay. All right, yeah, so even if the I-829 processing time lengthens and it actually becomes 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, it actually doesn't matter, because your conditional green card will be extended indefinitely while your I-829 is processing. I think they're in 1-year increments, but they will give you extensions as it's processing. Your job creation's done, and we do have the ability to repay the investors, and we're only in it for a 5-year term. So if you filed an 829 within 5 years, the loans are matured and they need to be paid back.